Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Yeah. Damn. I can't come down here and just like observe?
Who said that?
I'm just saying.
You just saying what?
I'm just saying that.
You just saying what?
I just said that.
Get your dumb ass home. You
Okay.
come to start problems. That's what you're trying to do.
I didn't start no problems.
I'm educated, not have guns.
I got a flag, bro. I got a flag. That's what I got. I got a flag.
So what? Nobody calls problems.
If I get shot over a flag, that looks bad on you. Everybody's so mad about American flags.
You causing problems in my neighborhood, though? You causing problems in my neighborhood, though? You causing problems over here?
Yep. Call the police. Call the police. Call police. This shit hurts my heart, man. I can't even sit here without feeling like I gotta roll my fucking window up and lock my door because somebody walks by. It's a fucking disgrace. No one can fucking kids safe down here, especially if you're white, I guess. This shit's a joke. What the fuck has this state come to? I look around every day, I'm like, there's so much exposing I can fucking do. This is a play place for any content creator. I can't get to anything that I want to. There's so much.
You hear Zach is pretty upset. He's upset over the fact that, I mean, just do the math. And the math is pretty easy to understand, and that is America is unrecognizable. This isn't America. This is a third world country run by a bunch of goons. We don't have Democrats and Republicans. We got a bunch of tight shirt shitbags in Washington, D.C. That's what we have. We have stolen elections at Kabuki Theater that'll let basically the cartels run amok over the American people. You think this is normal? You think that, well, this is just a sign of the times. No, it's not. It's a sign of stolen elections over the last 20 years. They came in with a plan. They told us. They told us over and over and over again, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to do. World Economic Forum literally predicted that people were going to die 10 years ago. You got Wreck-It Ralph. Bill Gates goes to Africa and just starts killing off entire populations, entire tribes. And nobody said a word about it. But no. You have Susan Rice that goes to the UN and says, oh, the President al-Bashir of Sudan is committing ethnic cleansing and genocide, when that cunt was actually the one doing it. We don't respect the sovereignty of other nations. We don't even respect the people that are in our nation. Ethnic cleansing, genocide on the American spirit, the American ethos. We sit around and we do nothing about it. People tell us over and over and over again. Whistleblowers come forward and say, hey, by the way, they stole your elections. And all the media has to do is stand up and say one thing. It's really simple. That's all they have to do is say, misinformation, disinformation. Trust the science. And some of the most retarded people in our entire country come to the defense of the indefensible. And we sit back and we have to listen to it. We have to listen to these fools. They put up people like Victor Marx in Colorado to run for governor. We knew he had no chance of actually winning. No chance. But you have stolen elections. You have an election system that wants the weakest, most controversial, the candidate that nobody could stand behind. Nobody in their right mind could stand behind that diabolical idiot. But no. Oh, trust it. Vote for the R. No. You got senators that are going against the American people, not on the Democrat side, but on the Republican side. President Trump has to put a post out and say, this is why I don't support these people. In the meantime, 85% of America says pass the Save America Act, which, by the way, I think is a Band-Aid, does nothing to the rigged system that's out there, gets rid of mail-in ballots. They'll find another way to cheat through the system because you didn't get rid of machines. The American people should revolt. There should be a rebellion, and the rebellion should start today, not tomorrow. Police officers stand up and do the biddings of the judiciary that's so rotted to the core you can see it from 20 miles away. You can see it so clearly that all the American people have just gotten to the point where they're like, why do I even vote? It's not a real system. It's a rigged system of rot and disgust. And the people that are a part of it are so hungry for power and money. Most of them are so retarded they can't even take care of their own finances. But yeah, let's put them in a position of power and authority so they can rule over the American people. And every time I see a video, I think the same thing. These people don't represent us. They're so selfishly inflated with their own egos and enough hubris to fill the entire I can't sit here and just take it anymore. I mean, it's like, what are you going to do about it? And yesterday I had the conversation with Kyle, and he's like, you can only worry about what you can worry about. And I'm like, well, the American people could build density very quickly. We could get to a point. We did it in Washington, D.C. And President Trump, I said this before, half joking, blink twice if you're being held hostage. Yet we can see the things that are happening, and we know he's being held hostage by people that are doing the biddings of people that aren't even in our nation. George Soros wasn't just a enigma. He was a part of this henchman, the henchmen that belong to this crime family that sit above and are wreaking havoc on countries around the world. We now have a pandemic of retardation that is consuming our very culture, the souls of our children, and yet we do nothing. But we tell everyone, oh, I would die for my children. Would you? Because I don't think you would. I think it's all an act. I think people were down to do patriot things until it's time to do patriot things. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, maybe I need to rethink that. I need to get my TV dinner and be able to watch a little football and take Johnny to practice. Not really caring about the fact that you're on a small timer of life. But your kids, now they have to endure all the cowardice that we put in front of them. And I get called every name in the book, and frankly, they've treated me like I'm every one of those people. Joe, you're a racist. Joe, you're a homophobe. Joe, you're a transphobe. Joe, you're for this. Joe, you're that. Joe, you want to hang everyone that you want violence. You want violence. You want violence. Well, violence literally happens to all of our people. And as we stand up, as we do what is necessary to fight against these evildoers and the lies that they tell, Eric Coomer, his attorneys, everyone, as we start filing stuff and doing stuff that holds them accountable, we have a rotted judiciary that stands in the way and acts as a shield against accountability, driving people like me and others to a place where we have no choice. You back us into a corner, you expect us not to fight our way out. We've been fighting our whole lives. And I'm not the only one. We could talk about the poorest among us, the Black community, the Hispanic community. You don't think they've been fighting? And they've been fighting each other. President Trump has an opportunity to do things that I think would right the ship. And I see those things happening so slowly. You can't even get them to confirm Todd Blanche. President Trump's like, fine, we'll just withdraw it. I'll wait till they're out of office and we'll then put somebody else in that position. And he operates with such confidence that I can't believe he doesn't know. But then I can say, okay, let's play chess. And then I read and I go back and I reread the Art of War. And I reread it again. I reread it again. I read it in a different translation. I try to figure out what the next step is. And I look at holistically what we face as a country and the different people that are doing different bad things. Jim Jordan, he's a retard. Everyone, Rand Paul, I mean, he talks a big game. Everyone talks a big game. When it comes down to it, he doesn't have the appetite for it. The only people that will throw anybody in prison for contempt of Congress is going to be the retards on the left. And sure, they do it. They do it well. You got a bunch of walking corpses inside of the Congress, the halls of Congress. And I know this doesn't make me very popular. Oh, Joe, now you're against both sides. No, no, no. I'm for the people. You see what that means? That means you give back to people what was never theirs to take, like 56 cents on every dollar. Property tax that proves that they actually own your home. You don't own it. You rent it from the government. Or how about the fact that we're $40 trillion in debt and the wealthy get ultra wealthy and the poor, you haven't even seen poor yet in the United States, but it's coming. You stand against Republicans. You stand against the R's. I put a video out that says I'm going to support Greg Lopez in Colorado, the independent candidate. And I was like, great, we'll just win on the issues. Because neither Weiser nor Victor Marx give a shit about the people. And I can't tell you that I'm all that convinced that Greg cares as much about the people as I do, because he probably doesn't. But at the same time, I look at it and I go, listen, we've got to do something. We've got to get off of this pony ride on both sides of the fence. And if we go out and do the things that are necessary in order to push us into a place where we could be more successful, we're going to have to make sacrifices. We're going to have to lean away from the D's, lean away from the R's, start figuring out that the American people are betrayed and enslaved by both parties. Both just do not move anything. Don't move anything. Don't move anything suddenly, because it might expose to the American people that we have a lot of Faucis in our government. We had a lot of Brutuses and a lot of Judases. We had a lot of people that would just as soon kill grandma, their own grandmother, as walk across the street and spit and chew gum, all at the same time, and wouldn't lose 1 ounce of sleep. Do we operate from a place where they use our own guilt? Because good people have guilt. They're typically connected to God's environment, and so that allows them to have a conscience, and that allows them to see that, that this is just a short life. This is a test of what is to come. And a lot of people in government are just willing to sell their souls just to be able to eat a little bit more of that caviar, just to have a little bit more power. What you just saw is a guy walking through Minneapolis, couldn't walk through Minneapolis. Couldn't walk through with a flag, an American flag. Is that America then? And why the hell have we not just opened up a 55-gallon drum of ass whoop? Just go in there and just whoop their ass. See, something happens when you get your ass whooped. It changes. It changes your ability to stand up. And look, I've taken a bunch of punches, over the last 6 years. And I don't care. It's kind of the point where life is just not that fun. There's nothing to look forward to, because everything you look forward to is like the cliff that we're about to fall off of. And that's not me being black-pilled at all. That's me recognizing that if the American people don't wake up the ethos of who they are, that got us through World War II, that helped us win wars and conquer societies, which we did for 250 years, that we're screwed, because then we're going to lean into the CIA. No matter how much information comes out about the CIA or the election systems and what they've done to us and how they've done it to us, we just sit back on our hands and wait for President Trump to save us. God forbid we have a Tea Party moment ourselves and save ourselves. Throw these people out when they put a pedophile on the street that just raped 2 9-year-olds, as they did in Denver, Colorado. But nothing is more as pronounced as this. This is 7 years. This is the city and county of Denver. The chief of security resigned on 7/2/2026. The letter will be posted on my pages. But I'll say this. I'm going to stop here for a minute. Recognizing that I was told again this morning by a deal that, Joe, you're on the list. You're completely and utterly shadow banned. So I want to stop here for a minute to ask the people that are actually listening to share this if you watch this. There you go. Just put it up there. Share if you're watching. Share on whatever platform you're on. Hit the little up button. We're going to break through. Sooner or later, we'll break through. I cannot keep my integrity and work for the city and county of Denver. Those two conditions do not coexist. The letter exposed a culture of retaliation where employees no longer feel heard or supported. The letter highlights the realities of team faced daily, including multiple deaths at all in Mile High sites and purchasing body armor just to feel safe visiting migrant and AMH sites. The letter details how he was written up for speaking the truth about layoffs, furloughs, frozen raises, and the heavier burdens of come with city overspending. When the people keep the city safe, they can no longer do it with integrity. It's time to ask who's really being protected and at what cost. This is a letter, and it's partially redacted. I don't know why, but they had to redact it. And as you go through and you look at this letter, it's unbelievable the things that they said in the letter. And yet, did anybody come in? Did the DOJ, did the AUSA step in? Has the United States government stepped in and said that Colorado is in a state of disrepair and the people that are running things are absolute criminals running a cartel? And that the judges in the state of Colorado are all hired henchmen that are doing the biddings of some really bad people. And no matter where you turn, they're letting criminals out on the street while persecuting good men and women, taking from them what's not theirs, jacking up fines, making harsh prison sentences, letting a guy off that had 3 DUIs, he gets off. But the first person to get a DUI wants to spend 90 days in jail. And the people, this is not just in Democrat environments, this is in Republican environments. They're punishing people based on their voting record. That's a true story. We run 600 arrests through a system. 600 arrests. We then ran those 600 people that we could verify. There was actually more than that, but we could verify the 600. 50% of them were Democrats, 50% of them were Republicans. We concentrated on 4 main charges. Some of the most obvious out there: DUIs, domestic violence. Right? We based it off of the criteria. I don't know what the other 2 charges were, but 4 criteria. 600 arrests. There was an equal number of Republicans and Democrats. That was very difficult to do because a vast majority of the cases that we saw come across were all mostly Democrats and or unaffiliated. So we had to find people that were actually affiliated that were charged with crimes. Now, let me just tell you what happened after that. We just did it based on disparity of the outcomes. And here's the disparity of the outcomes. The average charge for a Democrat was 71% less than that of its Republican counterpart. Let me say that for you again. We did 600. We actually had a large number more that we ran this test through. I just finished it. It is 70.91% less. And by the way, you could say that some of them, that could be the conditions of it. Okay, the Democrats, by the way, one was rape and or sex assault. Okay, Democrats, Republicans, registered both ways. Right, and we just ran it through to see what the outcome is. Democrats received nearly 71% less punishment for the same crimes. Now, you want to tell me that we don't live in a slave state? We don't tell me where evil is not running the day, where we have hired henchmen and a system that is designed to defraud the American people? You don't want to tell me that's not the case? Yeah, I can, and by the way, go do this yourself, by the way. You could do it yourself. Wreck-It Ralph, do it yourself. Go pick up some information, right? We're going to build more information on this specifically. But, and it's even worse if he goes to black versus white. If you're black, oh my gosh, the charges and the condition of release, if you just did it on a scale, hold on, let me tell you real quick. 83.6 less severe if you're black versus white. 80, oh my gosh. As I'm getting the information over to me, I'm thinking to myself, this can't be real. So I haven't verified that particular one. So please hold on to it, because I don't know how they're coming up with black versus white. Obviously, there's a bunch of Hispanics they put in the system and said that they're white. We don't know that they're actually white. Matter of fact, they're not white. They're Hispanic, right? So this could be a misnomer based on these digits. So let me check into these numbers a little bit more on that last one. But it is 71% less severe, almost 71% less severe of a punishment if you're a Democrat versus a Republican. Imagine that. That's a real thing. That's a real statistic. And yet, our guest that's going to be on here today is going to walk through some things. Oh, unless your name's Eric Coomer, by the way, you can commit a felony and just have your lawyer show up on the side of the street with the cops kind of do a little shuck and jive and then, make that charge go away. That does happen. Team evil, man. Oh, that's right. He's a Democrat. There you go. So you got it straight now. We know what the rules are. We know what the rules are. Man, I'm fired up today. I'm really fired up today. So then we have to talk about controlled opposition. So we know that we have Republicans, we have Democrats. They're all doing the biddings of everyone else. And then we have the influencer farm. We had the Julie Kelly of the world that came out as a populist, and she was there, J6, this is wrong. We all knew it was wrong. Everyone knew it was wrong, Democrat, Republican, Independent, but came out as a strong conservative, right? Her husband's name is John Kelly. Went back, and it took someone that was Captain Obvious, Kyle Seraphin. Some people said, oh, Kyle's here to just disrupt things. Yeah, I'm glad he is. Because everywhere we look, we team opposition, right? Team, Kash Patel does whatever he wants, takes credit for the fact that crime dropped. Well, that's actually is related to throwing out and deporting mass criminals across our country. But he takes credit for that because the FBI also buries stuff related to the pipe bomber and lies like a rug. Him, Dan Bongino. Oh, yeah, but they're populists. These are populist people. Steve Bannon, another populist. Yeah, we got another populist, Steve Bannon. I forgot about Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon, the guy that knew that after Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and said, we just need to make you more likable. And as you look through the text messages in the Epstein file, you can't come to any other conclusion other than he's an opportunist. He's not a populist. And most of them are. They think the American people are stupid. They think you are stupid. And as you walk down the line and you look at the Steve Bannons of the world, or the John Solomons of the world, it's coming. Oh, something's going to happen. We're going to finally get people arrested. And as years go by and you're disappointed, they just kind of let you down like a plane that's crashing in slow motion. And yet these same people then run for the Chicago mayor. So I got to put this up here. Here's a John Kelly video. You have to see this to believe it. Pay attention to what he says. Listen to what he says, John Kelly says. And this is married to Julie Kelly, and she didn't want to actually testify to the J6 committee. She didn't want to do any of that because it makes her impeachable. Play it.
Chicago used to be known as the city that works. Not anymore. It's early evening. I'm on the L, and it's almost empty because Chicagoans are afraid to ride the train at night. That's not a city that works. I'm John Kelly, and I'm running for mayor of Chicago because keeping people safe should be the mayor's #1 priority. We used to have about 400 police officers riding the trains. On my first day as mayor, I'm going to start putting them back. There are 154 police officers on Mayor Johnson's security team. I'm going to cut that by 75% and put 100 more police officers on the trains immediately. I'll hire more police, and after my first year in office, we're going to have 1,000 more police officers on the streets. The city budget is now $17 billion. We can afford to hire enough police officers to keep the train safe. I'm also going to bring back ShotSpotter. It works, and the mayor only got rid of it to hide the amount of crime we have. And to stop the teen takeovers, we need to allow the police to call the snap curfew before they start. I'm a Democrat. Crime isn't a left versus right issue. It's driving businesses and jobs out of our city, driving up residential property taxes, and hurting Chicago's most vulnerable. I'm not another career politician. They're the ones that got us into this mess. I'm the problem solver who's going to get us out of it. There are so many issues to tackle. I want to hear what's most important to you, from you, right in your living room. If you want me there, go to my website and hit the living room button, and I will be there. I still believe Chicago can be the city that works for everyone.
Did you miss it? Did you miss it? You missed the part where he said, I'm a Democrat. It doesn't matter anymore, guys. It doesn't matter. Democrat or Republican, could care less. Those are just football teams. It's like having East versus South when you're talking about high school football, right? Or maybe a rivalry you have in a college football game, or maybe it's basketball. It doesn't matter. It's a sport now, right? Politics are now a sport. Only the unlikely participants are a bunch of weak, trash heap liars. And the consequences, they never get felt by the team that loses. They get felt by the people in the community that have to embrace the new suck. New flock cameras on every corner, new tax that they're going to do here, new fee that they put up here, new tax or new raising in taxes, a property tax or sales tax, or maybe they're going to add a new fee to where they have to put a plate on their car and they have to have the kid Johnny go without. And Johnny, you're not allowed to go do that because we had to pay the state another $600 for a tollway to get to and from work. And as everything falls, the haves don't have to worry about that because they can just give themselves raises. These are the people in Congress. These are the people in the state house. These are the people that are governors and senators and state senators. And they get the grift and the graft, and they get to have NGOs that they funnel money to from the states, and budgets that don't make any sense because there's no accountability. They can just act and do whatever they want. And to hell with FOIA requests or COIA requests or any requests that the American people might have. They'll just tax you out of it and say it's $30,000 if you want us to look into that. Because, we got to actually get into the records, and that takes our time, even though we're already at work anyway, and we're already getting paid for the job that we do. But let's charge more for the customer, the American people, to get access to information. And then when we get access to the information and it shows how fraudulent our systems are, you'll do dick all about any of it. They'll do nothing. Now that you saw that video, I want you to see Dan Pongino, the guy that is firmly in your corner. He blocked me, by the way, so I can't really comment on it. He won't let me comment on it. Not allowed to comment on him anymore. He changed it, hit the old block button, has me blocked. I don't actually care because he's a pussy. He's nothing but a cowardly little man. And see, cowards are afraid to speak the truth. Cowards hide behind and do what Dan Bongino does. Dan Bongino says, Chicago definitely needs a change. Someone needs to clean that mess up, and endorses Julie Kelly's husband. Hey, everyone, I have some exciting personal news. My husband, John Kelly, is running for mayor of Chicago. It's a nonpartisan race. He's running to make Chicago safe, clean up public transit, attract new businesses, and stabilize rising property taxes. So proud of him. All right. He's the guy. Thanks, my friend. If you go down just below it, Julie Kelly. So you have Dan Bongino that is supporting. Now, Julie has to lie because she's a liar, and this is what liars do. This is what people that are grifters and grafters do. And the American people are tired of it. I'm sick of it. I'm completely sick of it. Like a Democrat, Republican, I could care less if you're the people, which side of the fence you're on. Right? We know who the enemy is, and it's not the people. The people are the ones that become the useful idiots, the slaves to the system that takes 56 cents on every dollar. That's what we get to be. But more importantly, let's just show you this if we can, just for the people in the back of the room. This is a post by that Kyle put up, which I think is pretty telling. Breaking: Dan Bongino endorses major Democrat donor John J. Kelly Jr., all Serco lobbyist, husband of major Democrat donor Julie Kelly. Believe them when they tell you who they are. Donations in thread. And here's the donations. And you get it. It's just, you can see the number of donations that they make. Now, these are the people that are all for us, right? You want to explain it away. Oh, it's absolutely no, here we go. John Kelly. If you go any further on this, I'll put this up here really quick because I want to get my guest on here to get an update. I'm pretty fired up. If you don't think I'm fired up, I'm fired up. And Dan Bongino says stuff like, "Oh, Joe, these guys, these grifters, call me a grifter. Motherfucker, anytime you want to go, anytime you want to get on a mat, anytime you want to get on a mat, please, I would welcome it. I got a lot of pent up aggression right now. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of people that talk trash and talk down to the American people and get on their podcasts and act like they're holier than thou and that they're the victim somehow because they had to step away from their wife for a couple months while they went to go to Washington to, again, stand as controlled opposition and stand up and do the things that were completely against and the opposite of what they said they do when they're on the podcast before they actually got into the FBI. And then he quit because he's a quitter. And he went back to a podcast. And then he brings on a guy that does a Trump impersonation. Yeah, that's I don't even get it anymore. I don't even get it. I mean, it's just, you got a Secret Service guy who happens to be able to talk, so they put him on a pedestal and then they give him a part of Rumble and he has FU money. Then he goes to the FBI and he finds out a bunch of stuff and then he gets on and says, well, if you knew what really happened, I can't really tell you. It's just that bad. But he won't tell the American people. Then he comes out later and says, oh, I was just kidding. Oh, there's no Epstein files. And oh yeah, over here is nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. And then rah. Good job, Cash, because you brought down crime across the country. And the FBI has nothing to do with crime coming down. But ICE did. And here's a history lesson for you, just so you know, got put up there. How much of the 143,000 Julie and John Kelly could give politicians that have to be Democrats? Prior to 2016, Julie Kelly seemed content doing propaganda for the big ag businesses under the guise of regular suburban mom who teaches cooking classes. She lived in a 10,000 square foot home in Orlando Park outside Chicago, Illinois, married to John J. Kelly, a lobbyist and owner of allcirco.com clients. One of the biggest clients is ADM.com, a roughly $100 billion a year ag business. ADM is a global leader in both human and animal nutrition. You utilize the power provisions of natural to create the ingredients and solution that generate safe, healthy, and sustainable nutrition for people and animals around the world. Julie's home was purchased for $1.365 million in Jan of 2011. The point is, Kellys have been well off since long before you heard of her. And shilling from Monsanto and pesticides, and her Tom Calaccio feud, documents below in her own words, appeared to be a hobby. Tom's account is clear on the political left, but he didn't stop Julie from picking fights with a man for clout. And due to the horrible nature of social media and her husband with connections to major news outlets, she was miraculously able to publish an editorial at the Wall Street Journal. Because it's not real. It's not real. The whole system is it's bullshit. It's kabuki theater. And the sooner we actually realize that the real power lies in the people and we don't have to put up with their bullshit, the better off we'll be. And frankly, how many more people we're going to talk to one of our guests right now, worth $400 million. They just came in and took it all from him. They literally just came in and just took it all. No trial, no jury, no, just a kabuki judge that works for the cartel. Didn't like the fact that he donated money to President Trump. And in large part, I mean, I said to him when he was on here before, I hope he has an update for us that makes sense. But I said to him before, he's like, well, I'm not used to asking for help. I said, I think it's time you ask for help. I think it's time you ring the bell. I think it's time that people start contributing to the people that have been adversely affected over the last 6 years. This is not some gladiatorial contest where we get to sit in the pit and tear ourselves apart while they get to sit up there and eat and stuff their faces. Sooner or later, the sword comes out against the people at the top. And that's not an advocation for violence at all. That's an advocation for accountability, for consequences, for the really shitty things that have been done to the American people over the last couple decades, under the guise of free and fair elections, under the guise of, we have to do our part. 56 cents on every dollar. It's not our part. It's stealing from the people what was never yours to take. And as the warm weather sets in and they take your homes and they have property tax that you can't even pay, it'll get to the point where you can't pay it. And you can't sell your houses because, frankly, if you look at the market rate now, it's got a 5.5% sale rate. Currently, nothing is selling across the country. The 30-year bond is as high as it's ever been. The interest rates right now are as high as they've been in the last 20 years. Nobody's talking about it. You think they're talking about it? No, they're trying. Let's just bring oil prices down, gas prices down. That should do it. Did they cut the Fed? No. They said, inflation. They have a lever for everything. The only people that win are the people they want to win. You see the stock market drop 25, 30, 35, 40, 50 points. 50 points, nearly half, for SanDisk. They ran it on up using all sorts of different tricks. And I love the stock market. I love playing it. Love it. It's unbelievable. It's my hobby. We get what they tell us we can have. We get what they tell us they can have. And here's a post by Phil Kennedy. It tells us now Democrats are good now. Democrats are good. They've confused us so much that we don't even know what to believe anymore. We don't know. They don't even know. I don't know. I just the American people just want to win. They want accountability. They want people that do harm to their people to go to prison or worse. I'll be the first to tell you that there are many people that want vengeance right now, and they know that they have an immense amount of faith, and God is literally stopping them from doing probably the worst to the people that deserve the worst to happen to them. Anthony Fauci deserves to literally go back to the 1600s and face some of the most gruesome torture devices that you could face. He is diabolical. And the amount of people that he killed in this country, personally responsible by hiding information as he hides behind the Fifth Amendment and stuffed his face by making millions of dollars on the backs of Americans during 2020, 2021, 2022. It is disgusting. And there's more. We prop up a guy like Hunter Biden, a most disgusting, vile human being that you could come up with, and they literally are trying to redeem that guy. Much like Steve Bannon tried to redeem Jeffrey Epstein. Same thing. No difference between the two. And everybody's like, Joe, you got to be on the side of Bannon. You guys are fighting the same enemy. Nope, we're not. See, his is manufactured in his mind. He uses his platform to do what is popular, knowing that most people in America actually stand for those things. He's a populist by pretend. You can see I do a really great job of going out there and looking for advertisers. I don't. I keep thinking about it, going to myself, well, you got to have value to the people that I represent and that I talk to, which is millions of people every month, not tens of thousands. It's millions of people. And even through the censorship, which I'll ask you again, if you're on, you just joined us or joined us a little while ago, hit the share button. You becoming the ambassadors of truth. You're the ones that actually get to promote whatever it is that I'm saying. If you agree with it, or even if you don't agree with it, I'd rather have that conversation than have it hidden by tech oligarchs that get to decide who and who is not the purveyors of their voice. Emerald put this out. And before I bring our guest, I got two more posts. Emerald put this out. And she's right. Our elections are a lie. The Congress is a lie. The law courts are a lie. The GOP is a lie. The Democrat Party is a lie. The FBI is a lie. The DOJ is a lie. The stock market is a lie. Our institutions are totally corrupt. We are at the point now where we have to build density and we have to have a fraternity. And frankly, they have to go, all of them. Too big? No, it's not. American people are 300 million strong. Oh, we can't agree on anything. We can agree on the fact that we shouldn't pay property tax and that the government shouldn't own us like slaves. We can agree on that. We can agree that we don't want illegals in the country raping and murdering people in our community. We can agree. I have a case very close to me that I'm going to go over at the end of the show today. Very close to me. A man that I think is amazing. Sentenced to 51 years. You want to know why? Because his pride and joy in his life was keeping his son out of gangs, out of gang violence, serving the community, teaching him in a boxing club, doing all sorts of things. And these two thugs that the police knew and the DA knew took his son's life, killed him. They had all the evidence. They even had the braggings to other people that he murdered his son. And the DA did nothing. He did nothing. The police did nothing. So this great man with a heart of gold whose entire life was his son walked into the most vulnerable place for the person that took his son's life, a birthday party for his kid, and he ended him. I've never seen this man act dark way in his life. This just happened, by the way, last year. He just now was sentenced to 51 years in prison. The judge made it very clear in the jury instructions that they could not find that they were going to allow him to do jury nullification because they were afraid of it. They knew this man was a staple in the community. But he was like, you know what? My whole life was my son. And this piece of trash was able to walk the streets and have a birthday party and act like nothing happened when he took the life of his son. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to take his life. And he did. And some of you will say that what he did was wrong. And others of you would say what he did was wrong, but you can understand it. And then there are men like me who said, I don't see any other way. I don't see any other way. And yet I recognize that I shouldn't be saying that in the way of, I lost my friend. He lost an entire community. This guy had served for so much. He had served the same community this kid came out to kill his son. He had served that community, showed up. And they betrayed him. And the DA betrayed him because they wanted to keep these criminals out on the street. And then I put this post up. It's an obligation to fix the corruption and throw out the pigs who call us slaves. And you'd say, Joe, your rhetoric, man. This is not rhetoric, right? This is not let's play some song and hope that we can get back to where the ethos of where we were in the 80s when it was the Reagan era. This is how do we get to a place where we have common sense? And I just told you a little bit about my friend, but we're going to talk at the end about it. But I want you to stew on that. Here's a black man got sentenced to 51 years, watched his son get gunned down. They knew it was him. They even admitted it in the trial, that they knew that who he'd gunned down had killed his son, and they wouldn't arrest him. I'm going to take my commercial break right now, and then I'm going to bring on Tim Barton. I'm going to take my commercial break just so I can get right with God right now, because I do not have a filter. I go live. So everything that I'm saying right now goes live. It goes all across the waves. I had an update for the Eric Coomer deal. You're not even going to believe this. You're not going to believe what I'm going to share with you. I had to send it out to all the media and say, hey, listen, you guys should probably cover this. Called them dead to rights. I mean, I've been putting it out there and showing you this stuff for the last couple of weeks, but we finally got the filing done that shows that it's a fraud on the court, and they knew about it, and that the attorneys knew about it. But Tim Barton is the founder and CEO of JMJ Development in Texas in 1990. 1990. So that's 36 years. In 2019, he discovered a suspected money laundering scheme through the Chinese proxy investors. In 2022, after a 2-year investigation by the SEC, Mr. Barton was ripped from his bed at 5 a.m. in the morning with heavily armed FBI agents. Yeah, over the fact that he became a whistleblower, by the way, in 2019. Core allegation is that he's accused by federal authorities of orchestrating a $26 million investment scheme targeting around 100 foreign investors, Chinese nationalists. So the people that he was actually telling on because what they were doing was wrong. Prosecutors alleged land acquisition costs were massively inflated and funds were misused. By the way, land acquisition costs being inflated is not a real thing. Developers have the ability to create costs based on current costs, what I call a pre-build and what I call post-build, right? And if you build pro formas, you build it that way. Anybody that knows anything about how you build things and how you make development dollars, there's always a fee that's built into it. You don't get to buy it for the same dollars that they bought it from, period. And yet the government comes in and all their infinite knowledge and says, oh, you charge them 3 times what you paid for the land. So what? You ever seen a lot fee when you go to buy a house? Same damn thing. They build that into the cost of the home, and then they're like, oh, no, but you actually get a grassy green knoll behind you. So that's an extra $50,000. It's arbitrary. These are dual federal cases. He faces a 9-count DOJ criminal indictment, including wire fraud and securities fraud, and parallel SEC civil fraud suit. The whistleblower defense, Barton maintains his innocence, arguing that he was actually the original whistleblower who alerted federal authorities in 2019 to fraudulent co-creators before even being targeted himself. Frozen asset battle shortly after his suit in 2022, they took everything from him. So we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we got lots of questions for him. I want to see what he did, and I'm going to see if he's been in D.C., so hopefully he's getting the help that he needs. We'll be right back.
Oh, hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Our master bakers teach class every week. So whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns. We keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle. All right, welcome back. Well, I'm going to just go ahead and bring Tim in because he's probably got a lot to talk to us about. He's been listening to me rant on for the last 40 minutes. So, Tim, welcome to the show.
Great. Great to be here. Thank you for having us back for the second part of this story. I was just, reflecting on everything that you were saying and all the issues, and it's so true. And the worst thing is that these people that are in power now, they think it's normal. I mean, the prosecutors, the judges, even the lawyers that's supposed to represent you. I saw an article about the SEC, how they were slowing down on enforcements with Paul Atkins, and the lawyers were outraged that he wasn't bringing enough cases because they were worried about protecting the investor public. That's not what they were complaining about. They were complaining about that without any enforcement, they weren't getting hired, and they weren't being able to extract enormous amounts of funds and have no care for the actual people that they're supposed to represent. So it is very hard to go through these days, after being here working 30, 40 years to make something happen in America. Like you said, it's not left or right. It's not Democrat or Republican. We're all citizens here. And then the system that is controlling everybody is inoculated, and they believe what they're doing is right and normal. That if they could put somebody away for 100 years, they just go home and have a hamburger and, oh yeah, I did my job. They don't care whether it's right or wrong, whether it was evidence was ever on it. They do their job and they don't have any concern for it whatsoever. And as you said, the judges are involved as well. So, a lot of good information you gave there, and it certainly is, the truth. And then, unfortunately, it's not very inspiring about what we're all up against. And I think the other point you brought out is that most Americans, they don't fight, right? They're done. People said, oh, there's going to be, an uproar. People are going to do something. They're not going to do it. Unfortunately, the American people have lost, the memory is a nanosecond. Everybody forgot about what they did to us during COVID. They destroyed our lives. They destroyed all our businesses.
They
now
killed Americans. They
they
killed
kill
millions
people.
of Americans. I mean, and they're
Absolutely.
continuing to kill millions of Americans with COVID vaccines and mRNAs and doing. We found that everything that we thought to begin with it's worse than that actually.
And what is this Fauci the fairy worried about? His little diary, like he's some kind of prom queen about, oh, he's more popular than President Trump. I mean, that's what these people are when you pull back the curtain.
Power.
That
They
is
want
who
power.
they
They want money.
are. Yeah.
They want power. They want money.
It's just
They
sick.
want recognition. They want. I mean, it's sick. And they're always, by the way, 3 feet tall, like Fauci, right? They're always these
Yeah.
little dweebish little pieces of trash, these little cowards that hide behind like the little weasel behind the curtain because they know that they are weak and pathetic, right? And so power to them is something they could never have, as far as physically. And so
Right.
they get off on hurting other people. They get off on that feeling of being able to hurt other people. It's evil reincarnate.
Well, thank you for again having me back. You kicked me in the shins and you said, Barton, you better start asking for some help, and a few other people have as well. And we have spent a bit of time in D.C. And talking to a lot more folks about what's going on. Of course, the DOJ has a lot going on right now, and where is that attention to what they're doing? There's a lot of changes, and people often say to me, "Well, why isn't your case already done? What's the big, what's the holdup? What's going on?" And unfortunately, there's so many people that are bureaucrats that are still in the DOJ, so many prosecutors that are still appointed by Biden, that even the people that are in charge right now, they don't really control the day-to-day activities. I mean, recently our prosecutor left for a big fancy job. She got me in the column as one of her indictments that they all do so that they could get employed. And with that, she was on my case for 4 years trying to cause trouble. She finally got rewarded with a big job at Gibson Dunn. And then, here come these new kids that have taken over finally. And, it's the same thing. Oh, we're going to trial. We're going to charge you with more cases. You're guilty, you're guilty, you're guilty. Well, what about the evidence that you never even delivered? What about the facts? What about the fact that all these Chinese people had an opportunity to come to court? They sued me the first time and they gave up. They quit. They dismissed the case because they were losing. They had no facts that were in their favor in the first lawsuit. And then, as I said before, they went on to, with some CCP lawyers, James O out of Houston, they cooked up an involuntary bankruptcy case. And the judge simply said, if there's really a problem, Mr. Barton said he's standing here trying to deal with all these issues that you said you have. He says he has problems where the money has to go back to China. Then come before my court. Come before my court. And they didn't come voluntarily, so he ordered them to come. And they never came. And then you fast forward some months later, and why is the SEC taking up 2 times the civil case that was dismissed and lost? And they had a right to come back and do whatever they want in the civil case. They never did it. But the SEC decided to take it up. And they decided to have not 1 case, but 2 cases with the DOJ. There's a new statistic that just came out. I saw that the SEC has a collection process for any kind of involvement where there's problems between investors and another party, that the SEC efficiency ratio is like 10%, and a civil process that normally goes on between lawyers and people in the civil matter usually gets about 70% results. But the SEC is the most inefficient way ever to protect investors. And right now, I think the numbers are that there's $2.5 billion sitting in the SEC of disgorgement money that they took back, but they don't have any victims to give the money to. And just like in my case, there are no lenders coming to court The SEC's never brought a statement of witnesses, and no one's ever showed up in court. So, you know, we've been talking to people in D.C. People are listening, but you never know if anything's going to happen.
Well, you listen. Yeah. The goal is, and I'm just going to tell you that the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right?
Yeah.
So you have to show up with documentation. You have to show up with, here are the names of the Chinese people that I whistleblew in 2019. Here's the category of events. You have to do the work for them, Tim. And you have to put it in front of them and report for them. I know you know how to use AI, so it's real easy. You take those documents, put them together, footnote them, and then add them as attachments, right? You have the first thing you have on the very front is a bluff. Bottom line up front, here's what I have, here's what I did. The second page, third page are corroborating documentation of who they are, what their position was, what they did, what you did, right? Then you have the documents that go against that, which is the emails or any corresponding evidence that you have with it. And you just keep dropping it, keep dropping it, keep dropping it, keep dropping it. You ask to see President Trump. You ask to see Ed Martin. You ask to see Pulte, because this is a national security deal at DNI. I think he just got replaced by another guy. Is it Casey or Kasny or something? Let me figure out.
Clayton, I think. I don't know if he's fully in yet, but Clayton, yeah. Yep.
So the DNI director is Jay Clayton.
Jay Clayton, right? Yeah.
And the bad part about this is that he was in the New York district.
He was a prosecutor, yeah.
I mean, but he was the chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission during the first Trump administration, right?
But I mean, it's crazy, right? You talk about the SEC. Now, I call every number on any website and any number I can find for the SEC in Washington, D.C. I call and I leave messages. Nobody answers. I sent emails to Paul Atkins, an email that I found. I said, nobody answers at your SEC. I sent correspondence and letters trying to get in touch with David Woodcock, the new guy that's in charge of enforcement. But I mean, I'm pretty aggressive, but I can't even imagine what kind of SEC is it that they don't even answer the phone? I mean, but obviously they don't want to talk to me. And then I called Ezekiel, the lawyer that
they don't have to answer the phone. They don't answer to the American people. I mean, this is where you're trying to reason with the ridiculous. You can't reason with the ridiculous. They're above us, Tim. They're above you. Doesn't matter how much they get to pick winners and losers. They get to take whatever they want from you. And once you figure that out, then you become a little bit more ruthless. And you're like, listen, you do things like what you're doing now, which is speaking up and speaking out.
I mean, I got Ezekiel, the lawyer that we fought on this on the Fifth Circuit appeals. He was the SEC lawyer. He finally calls me back. I go, well, thanks for calling me back. Nobody answers at the SEC. Can you please just give me your coworker's phone number and email? He goes, no, you got to speak to the lawyer in Dallas. I said, well, I don't want to speak to the SEC lawyer in Dallas because I'm already in litigation. I want to speak to somebody in enforcement. He refuses to give me the number. So, I mean, that's the typical runaround that you get. But I will tell you some exciting news. I cannot say the name of the lawyer, but I can tell you that of the top 15 most famous lawyers in America still alive today, and I would put him in the top 3, that we work diligently with just me, no lawyers, because we don't have any lawyers in the SEC case. And we drilled down on the 7th Amendment issue, which we talked about, where they've taken all my assets and they're selling them. We have another update about what the crazy judge did. But for a moment, I was very proud. I called my team. I told them to, call your mother and tell them that this lawyer said, quote unquote, this is extraordinary work. You have one of the strongest 7th Amendment cases that he's ever seen. His age said he couldn't, of course, try it. He said, but I'm on your team now. You get me a few more things. You get these things done. And you get one other good SEC lawyer to join on. He says, you've done extraordinary work. And this is, he said, if this is the mind of somebody that could do this work without any legal background, he said, I don't know what the government's doing. So that was encouraging. Like you said, we asked for his help, and we got his, we're getting his help. So we have been doing that, reaching out. But the crazy judge, Brantley Starr, since we spoke last, I guess I think it was right after I was on your show. So I guess he's a fan of your show, because the day after I was on it, he wrote an order 792 in my case. And it says that after a month and a half of the quarterly report by the receiver, he finally read it, and he thinks that the receiver is correct, that the three options left are really liquidation, liquidation, and liquidation of everything of Barton's. And so without the SEC asking, without the receivership asking, the judge just decided to write an order that said the receivership shall, within 90 days, come forward with a total liquidation of everything that Mr. Barton, we've taken from him. We've sold his house since we spoke. The house did sell. They did to get that closing. We're checking to see if they flip the contract. We are still blocking one other sale that they're trying to do, but that's not good enough for him. Now he wants to go for the bulk sale.
Just so you know, you have a homestead law in Texas. They can't actually take your house if you're. I mean, they can't.
No, I'm clear of that. Unfortunately, being in the real estate business, you do have litigation. So the format that I had was trust with LLCs, and the LLC was the owner of the house, because even a house for me is real estate. So we buy and sell. Not having a homestead, yes, is a bit of a mistake, but it also targets exactly where you live. So that was a choice I made. Now I paid dearly for it. But they had no right to take a house. Even in the FBI report, the FBI said that when Barton bought the house, he borrowed the money of $1,200,000, and he paid $1,050,000 for the house. But the SEC still said that I used Chinese money to buy my house. But those are the crazy things that they do. But thank you for causing us to ask for more help. We are doing that, but it's.
And you are fighting the court. You are fighting the judge's ruling for the 90 days, right? You are fighting that at the okay. Yeah. And your lawyer now, is your lawyer being sharper with the court and being like, this judge is acting not only improperly, but so is he using sharper words? Because right now the temperature of every time I talk to a lawyer, the temperature is going up against judges specifically, and saying that these aren't real judges. This judge is not making a ruling based on law or fact. This judge is making a ruling based on the fact that he's probably getting some money in an envelope underneath the door, that there's no reason that the judge is making that determination. It doesn't follow any sort of pattern that would be legal. I mean, is your attorneys acting that? Yeah,
well, the issue is even worse than that. When you have a prejudgment receiver, and the prejudgment receiver was picked by the judge, is a 30-year-old, I call him his little junket travel buddy, because the receiver goes on judicial retreats with the judge and sits next to him, I guess, to hold hands. That my receiver is traveling with the judge is bad enough. And so I decided, it took me almost a year and a half to finally get all the lawyers off my case. And the judge was fighting it every step of the way. And now I'm judicially restricted as a pro se. And why I say judicially restricted is because every time I file something in court, he has to allow me, I have to apply to lift the stay to allow me to file whatever my filing is. And then he has to read it and decide it. And so we're appealing that. And so your answer to, is the judge are the lawyers being rough enough? I just took matters into my own hands, and we're filing, and we're going after everything. I've just went for ex parte conversations. I went for, there's been no tracing. You testified you need tracing. I mean, I just ramped up 100 filings. We're at 820 filings in this receivership case so far, and we expect to hit 1,000. And they are, doing everything in their power to block me. And the Fifth Circuit doesn't like the fact that I'm appealing things, because they say that certain ways you don't have certain perfect jurisdiction, and then they're filing contempt charges. But you know what? Good news is, Joe, they took all my money. So what am I going to pay a contempt charge for, right? this is just ridiculous. So I wish I had a lawyer, but I just don't believe that lawyers are willing to go to that distance against
They're not.
these judges.
They're
They're
not.
scared of the judges.
Yeah, most of them are
Just
cowards.
totally scared. Yeah.
I mean,
And that's the big problem.
You saw the Shiloh Hendricks lawyer out of Minneapolis that basically came out and said the judge is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right? And rightfully so, right? But this is the problem we have across the board. And this is the problem that President Trump and everyone have to reconcile. We don't have a judiciary anymore. You got to throw them all out. It doesn't work in its current form. And we are headed towards a very hot environment. Right? There's a lot of really hot people, and you got thugs and liars and cheats and thieves and murderers out on the street while they're taking your $400 million to pad their own pocket. I bet you that money ended up back in the Chinese's pocket. Right? Just give it back to them.
They didn't even do that. They gave it to the receiver. The receiver's been able to liquidate everything that they've liquidated so far. They paid themselves. There's no money that has gone to any lender or even an honest my bankers that loan me money. So they don't do that. But it is unbelievable. Going back to these judges for one thing. Trump realized there was a mistake with these federalists. The Federalist group was putting up a lot of bad judges. But can we just do this? Can we just stop giving them lifetime appointment? Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
This monkey, Brantley Starr, because he's the nephew of Ken Starr, all of a sudden he's a Jewish offender. He was a clerk in the appellate court, and they decided to make him federal district judge, Article 3, for life. And what does he give out to some people? He gives out life sentences. They got 180 years hanging over my head, and that's a life sentence. And they think that they could just do that without ever having to answer for as the judges in these courts. They can't do it, and that's the big problem.
Tim, we've talked about this at length. You have a DOJ investigation. You did nothing wrong, right? So, and anybody that's been up against a system, I did. I mean, I went up against a system, and I never do anything unless I have a couple of kings. Like when I'm holding 3 kings, I don't actually care. And so over the last 6 years, I've endured quite a bit, but I have 3 kings in my hand. I run a data company. I'm very familiar with the personas of the people that are actually attacking me. I'm very aware. And as a result of that, I have knowledge of things that allow for me to speak for 6 years. Right? Because at the end of the day, I know sooner or later I'm going to just wait, and then I'm just going to stack things on top of people that they can't actually.
That's what you got to do. Yeah.
Your case is somewhat the same way. Like I've looked through all your stuff, and your case is the same. You have enough information. You have more information that would prove that the SEC acted corruptly, that the DOJ colluded with someone, the FBI colluded with someone. I don't know who it was. Was it a Chinese investor? Was it someone you pissed off downstream that was a lawyer? Who blew the whistle and said, he's got a lot of money, let's go take it?
Yeah.
Somebody did.
Yeah. I have like you did, you did your homework. I've done my homework, and that time will come. We're working through that.
But your case smells, it doesn't just smell bad. And I want people to understand this, because there are people that say, I have a friend who did nothing wrong, and they charged him anyway. And they made up a story and made it some sinister environment that it wasn't true. And I was talking to the DA about it, and the DA is like, well, he acted guilty. I said, what does that look like exactly? Show me what acted guilty looked like. And he goes, well, he left. And I was like, okay, he left because he had to, because he was told to. Here's a guy that's in a state of shock, can't figure out what's going on. None of it makes sense to him. Right?
Yeah.
I say that because the system is that his friends said, well, maybe you did something wrong. Like that was their response to him. I was the only one that said, you have no idea what you just entered into. You're entering into a system that is designed to destroy you. It will take from you what is not yours to take. It will feel like the most unjust system you've ever been involved in. And your job is to go all the way through it and not come out the other end scarred or influenced to in such a way that you are just bitter. But it's going to try and destroy you and make you bitter. And when he first started, he's like, yeah. Now it's a year in. He goes, Joe, I have a hard time not being bitter. I don't want to talk to people. I think people are trash. He goes, I have no respect for, different groups of people. He's like, he thinks the judiciary is rotted. And it is, because he's in it.
Totally is. There's no question about it. Wait till he gets 4 years in.
Well, he's hopefully not going to get 4 years in. This is coming up in September, and he didn't waive speedy trial or anything like that.
Yeah.
And but he's been a Boy Scout his entire life. But the nets of injustice will catch you.
I don't care.
Yeah,
they don't care. The prosecutors don't care, and in the trial, you hear so many stories about the trials, how they change the evidence. They don't let you get your lawyers don't fight hard enough.
Eliminate, because they basically limit the stuff that you could put up. And this is where I tell you, if you're going to fight, and I'm just going to tell you from my perspective, telling you what to do. If they're going to take from you what is not yours, then win terribly over losing graciously. You don't win. You don't lose graciously. That's not even an option. If you think that I might look bad through this, if I say so, look bad, look terrible, act terribly to the fact with righteous indignation.
And that's why you have to. I do it without a lawyer with pro se, because otherwise they won't allow you to say it. They won't allow you to do it. They won't. Who's going to ask a judge for ex parte conversation between him and his little travel buddy? Nobody. But I'm putting it in the record. It's in the record.
Well, you can also, by the way, sue. You don't have to follow their rules.
True.
You don't have to follow the rules of you can't file without asking the court. You can tell them to fuck off. I got a Fourth Amendment right. I can do whatever I want. I have a right not to have unusual search and seizure. I have a right for you not to throw me in jail and treat me like a criminal. I have a right to those things. You could write a pleading to the judge that way and tell the judge with a big middle finger, here you go. Right?
Yeah.
And frankly, Tim, you have nothing left to lose. They've taken it all from you.
I tell people that all the time. You took it all. I got nothing left. So what do I got to lose? Nothing.
But now they've backed you into a corner.
Yeah, they destroy your family. I mean, that's even worse. I don't even want to get into that about what they did to my kids. But we just keep moving, and I think there's some progress. But at the same time, it's shocking. These new kids get on the case and they go, "Yeah, we're going to start more. We're going to supersede these indictment, more charges." I mean, who is that? What is that? 4 years, and they admitted that this case doesn't make any sense, and but they're just in the system, and the new people come in and they're told what to do, and they just want to process you out. Even my own lawyer said there's only one way out of a Texas indictment, and that's through a jail cell. I said, well, that ain't happening to me. Okay. If I you see, as you said, these people get murder, all these other things, they get 3 to 5, 2 years. They don't even go to jail. We're talking about 180 years hanging over my head for what? For Chinese that never showed up. They've never come to give any statements to the SEC. They've never done anything. And all we asked for is the proper way to send the money back to China. And they didn't want anything to do with it.
And by the way, they took $400 million from you, and they said it was over 26 million. So where's the rest?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, thankfully, a lot of the assets sit there because I've got all the fighting that I've done. 2 lawyers have quit, even pro se appeals. So they've only been able to sell my house so far. That's the one sale they got through. But the good news is, Joe, I did win to get my washer and dryer back. They actually delivered it free of charge. They gave me my washer and dryer back after they sold my house. But and the other ones they did through settlements of $100 million. They liquidated for $3.5 million. And of course, they used that money for themselves. So there's a big part of these assets still sitting there. And that's why the judge wants to wrap them up with this new order. And we're fighting it on every step of the way. So we expect some good results. And look, I think it's a good day when one of the top legal minds in America, not in the world, congratulates you for the fight that you're doing over the Seventh Amendment. And he said, in his own words, he was stimulated and excited and was anticipating my follow-up call. So, we just have to keep fighting and keep moving forward and get the message out to people like yourself. And we thank you for that.
Well, I tell you what, I'm grateful for the work that you're doing and you continue to do in this fight. I think it'll actually bear fruit, not just for you, but for other people. So
we're fighting for everybody.
When's the next?
Family.
When's the criminal trial?
November 2nd.
November 2nd, and that's the trial.
That's supposed to be the beginning of the trial. Yeah.
All right, so we'll cover that fully. And who's your attorney in that case?
We have a couple of attorneys. They're not going to. They're already threatening and saying that they're not going to go forward because there's no money to pay them, and so we might go with a public defender. They have in the federal trial of this complication. They have to bring in a certain level of lawyers. Or
you can also just ask your lawyers if they'll take the money from the federal government for public defender, and they can do a substitution.
Yeah, I got to get the right guys.
No. If your lawyers are good, if they are good, you want to keep them. You can ask them to take the rate that they are assigned.
No, I'm on board.
Right.
We want to keep researching to get the right guy, and we're hopeful that this thing will be dismissed. We're hopeful that sunlight will be brought in, that the Trump administration, President Trump himself, and even the DOJ will now look hard at what's going on here and come to the realization this is ridiculous. And not only myself, but remember they indicted my secretary and arrested her on Christmas Eve. So we're continuing to fight and more robustly. Thank you for your guidance and help. And we'll keep you informed as we keep moving. And everybody, bartonreceivership.net, bartonreceivership.net tells you about all the things that they're doing and all the fighting that we're doing. So, everything that they do, we counter it right on there.
All right. Keep fighting, brother. Keep fighting.
All right. God bless you. Thank you.
All right. God bless you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Tim has gone through quite a bit. My advice to him was to fight harder, and the fight harder is because, frankly, what do you have to lose at this point? I mean, I'm in the middle of a case right now with the Coomer case that is absurd. It doesn't borderline ridiculous. It's past ridiculous. Caught in the middle. You have the emails. You have him on the call on November 2nd with CISA, day before the election. He says that, I'm just strategy and security, man. I'm just a guy that supports the action. But he was in on the phone call for CISA. Why? If he's just a support guy, why would he be on that call? This is a guy that was a system architect. This is a guy that literally was the chief architect for Sequoia, going all the way back. We have receipts and emails that basically put him at the site of the crime. We have a whistleblower that just came forward. We're going to add him to the deal that worked with Coomer. He had more to say about his personal life than he did his business life. But the more you hear about this guy, the less likely you could get to the place where he wasn't just a part of it. He was at the top of the pyramid of it. He was the guy. He's the guy hiding in plain sight. That was his Instagram handle. Hiding in plain sight for all to see. That was his Instagram handle. This guy prides himself on being able to dish from a distance. It's a coward. That's what cowards do. That's what cowards do. But let's talk about what happens when you have stolen elections over decades with a much more domicile society. Spain is overrun. Overrun. We know what's coming in the United States. Man, if you don't think we're headed towards it, it's getting hot. And that's why they're trying to limit and take away your rights. That's why the Supreme Court is slowing down rulings. That's why you have Congress working against the interests of the American people. We can't have free and fair elections. We're not there yet. We don't have density yet. We can't have free and fair elections. We can't have hand count paper ballots. Even though the people want it, they deserve it. They want to stop talking about elections. You can't do it, slave. Go ahead and play it. This is Spain is incapable of protecting its own borders and putting out its own fires. Incapable. That's where we're at. Play it.
Increíble la situación. Mucho a la raya. Increíble la situación ahora mismo, señores.
¡Viva España!
They just walked into Spain. Moroccans just came into Spain. They had military intervention was requested, but it was blocked by Spanish leaders. The people of Spain are being held hostage in their own country. They are strangers in their own country. They have no control over what happens in their own communities. What's happening right now? You think you have control over what your kids can learn and not learn? You have control over what they can put in your body and not put in your body? They already proved that that's not the case. You have any control over after the age of 13? The fact that your kid's 13 years old, hasn't made it through puberty, barely in the place where their brain is even functioning. And they get to tell the doctor, no, I don't want my parents to see my records. That's where we're at right now. 13 is new age of consent for them, and they're going to push forward to the age of consent for everything from what? Having sex with creepy old 70-year-old men? That too? See, where we're at right now is very dangerous. It's a slippery slope that we talked about 25 years ago. But in the middle of that, they had to steal elections and make it look like kabuki theater. Everything's fine. While then passing laws that allowed for them to lie to the American people and create a media outlet that is run by the CIA. That's the reality of where we live today. What we have now is, Carloman says, it's un-American and infuriating. Yes. Yeah, they can destroy your life so easily. Murph says, not a fan of Joe's new statement. They take from you what they have no right to take. Let's put that away. How about they steal from you whatever they want? So I take the steal part because when they're stealing something, typically they're doing it where you don't see it happening. When they take it from you, they're like staring you, looking you right in the eye. They reach over and they take it from you and they dare you to try and take it back. They act with impunity because they have immunity. And the American people are growing so tired of it that, frankly, all these useful idiots that are doing the biddings of the cartels, the guys at the top, we're going to find out who those people are. Sooner or later, it will come out. And then generationally, they will eventually be dealt with. Who pulls all the strings? We don't know yet. Who's the one that's responsible for those strings? We don't know yet. We're about to find out. We are about to find out. I think that'll be one of the last veils that gets lifted when we see the head of the snake. I want you to see this. This is a Spanish bishop speaking out against what has happened. Play it.
Now we're witnessing an invasion. They are not refugees. No, this is an invasion of mass Islamization of Europe. And so this is a global political agenda by the powerful of the world to destroy Europe culturally and religiously. I mean, to destroy Christianity ultimately in Europe.
And we do nothing about it. We sit on our hands because we're not prepared for it. We're not prepared for it. We're not willing to give up the thing that is most sacred to us. We're not definitely not going to make any decision. Well, let President Trump do it, right? Oh, President Trump, you fight it. Oh, and then we're disappointed in President Trump when he doesn't do what we want him to do and he plays to the fiddle because we didn't ever get we didn't get in the gap. We didn't get to fight. We were willing to do it in 2020, saw the disappointment in 2021. People got locked up. That basically had a chilling effect across the entire country. Certain people are still talking. I've lost a lot, $10 million probably in the last 6 years, more. And way more if you count just the loss of being able to exit my company and do something great. Way more. But I'm not the only one that lost. Lots of people lost. We're still fighting. We're still fighting. We're still in it. Yeah, we want to sit around and talk about, well, you have more than we do. And I'd give it all, and I'm giving it all. I think we all should. But it makes it very difficult when you have people like Julie Kelly and Steve Bannon and Dan Pongino and Kash Patel, Kash Kardashian Patel. You have people that only care about themselves, super selfish people. Super selfish and super just, I don't even know, disgusting in the amount of hubris they have. Here's a Muslim scholar talking about Europe. This is, by the way, this is what they're saying about us. This is what they're saying about us, which, by the way, we're getting it from both sides. We got the synagogue of Satan that creates all the porn sites and builds all the stuff that allows for this perversion. The other side, you got Islamification and people coming in saying they're going to take from us what isn't ours and taking away our ability to eat meat and telling us where we can go and where we can't go. And you got the government in the middle that is flock cameraing everything and creating a surveillance state. And you got the government saying, oh, we need more tax dollars, and they're pigging their face with it. I mean, it's everywhere you turn. And this is what this scholar, Muslim scholar, thinks of you. Play it. Civilization of France and the West, the civilization of lies and sins, civilization of atheism and heresy. They hate the true religion of Allah, the religion of monotheism. Their civilization is one of prostitution, promiscuity, and homosexuality. This is why they harbor feelings of hatred towards the Prophet Muhammad. Oh, Macron, you know your place. With jihad, we will destroy your honor. Oh, Macron, you lowlife. Tomorrow we will conquer Paris. From the Al-Aqsa Mosque, we say to Macron, the enemy of Allah and all of his messenger, receive the tidings, O enemy of Allah, that which will displease you. Soon enough, there will be a righteously guided caliphate in the path of the Prophet Muhammad. Its great armies will advance, saying, Allah Akbar, and there is no God but Allah. To invade France and conquer Rome, in order to instill justice and spread light there. Soon, O Macron, we shall remove your corrupt civilization and purge the land from the filth of your capitalism. Soon, Allah willing, we will rule you with the justice and magnificent civilization of Islam. And the people of Europe shall realize just how much they were led astray by the French Revolution. And in response to France and its president is to declare jihad for the sake of Allah. That's what they're going to do to us. They're setting it up for it. You got 10 million, 20 million illegals that are in this country, unaccounted for. No record of them. Not every one of them was picked up. Trafficking women and children more than they have before. Completely isolated out of the purview of prying eyes. Money funneled through NGOs and government programs to give them access to the ability to be shrouded and protected. It's not a European problem. You have the Middle East. We couldn't leave good enough alone, man. We had to bring it all over here. Thanks to the CIA, thanks to the intelligence community in our own country who betrayed the American people. You got Democrats that betray us. You got Republicans that betray us. You got people in positions of power that say that they're here to help, that are controlled opposition, influencers by populists, pretend populists. It's crazy. Here's some information you should be aware of. America in 1960 had 20 mosques. America in 2026 has 3,150 mosques. This is what an invasion looks like. They're 6% of the population. There you go. That's what it looks like. Keep in mind, they flew planes into the World Trade Center, killed over 3,000 Americans. And the payment we get 25 years later is what exactly? Mamdani. And the only reason you got here is through stolen elections. You had the Patriot Act, which allowed them to spy on us. And it was a slippery slope that started from that day of the apology tour. We're going to apologize. Only the American people were apologizing for what the CIA had done and did. We did nothing. They did. And I'm not saying that Muslims can't be Muslims. I'm saying that at some point, we deserve to be able to keep our culture, keep our ethos. And again, they take from us what was never theirs to take. All right. Now I got one last thing for you. I want to say thank you to ICE. Just send more out. That's my thing, is send more out. And for the media and everyone who creates victims that then they use as postage stamps for allowing them to keep criminals in this country. The media is our enemy. The mainstream media is our enemy. The people that are journalists that write bad things about good people and write bad things, they are the enemy of America. They are the enemy of the people. Republicans and Democrats that sit in Congress that do the biddings of lobbyists, special interests, and the henchmen at the very top, they are the enemy of the people. The American people are not Democrat, Republican, Independent. We're Americans. And we are betrayed at every turn by these people. I want you to see this soy boy confronts ICE agents and didn't go so well. But
you're okay. We don't got weapons. You're the one with guns.
We're just community members.
Are you guys proud of yourselves? You guys proud of yourselves?
Feel good taking people up right off the street, grabbing them like slave catchers? Like the Nazis from Germany?
Nazis.
Well, you can take my picture. It's okay. I'm not ashamed of what I'm doing. You're the ones who are ashamed. We're not the ones who are ashamed. You're the ones who are hiding your faces. You can see who I am. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
No one's hiding their face. How about your friend right behind you? No one's hiding their face. How about your friend right behind you? No one's hiding their face.
this is why I say bring back ass whoopings. These people, they're fighting to keep criminals inside of our country. They hate the fact that we're taking away all the levers that they have in order to shill the American people. The American people are tired. We're fatigued. Man, we are past fatigued. We're to that place now where we're like, you know what is there left? Suicides are up, by the way, like crazy. And I had a conversation with someone who said, man, I've been having a hard time. I was like, well, save it for the fight because it's coming. It's coming. I truly believe it's coming. We are in a reckoning of epic proportion. People are tired. They're tired of your DEI bullshit, your social emotional learning. You're making everyone a victim. The grooming of the children. The taking from people what isn't yours. The fact that people have 30, 40 years invested in something and you can just come in and just take it. And the law doesn't matter anymore. We live in a lawless society. Do whatever they want. What are you going to do about it? You can't do anything about it. You fight. But the reality of it is that they're picking winners and losers. and destroying society in the process. That's the reality of what's happened right now. I say all this, and I still believe that, look, but God. And it might be, but God, we are going to have to do something really drastic. And I don't mean violence. I mean force, pressure, taking back, saying no, not giving them any more. It becomes really difficult to see how our society is eroded, not on the Democrat side, but in the leadership side, because they literally can select whoever they want. And they have so much ego, as if they are so much smarter because they got into that role, but they're not. They're not. They're dumber than rocks. Most of them haven't accomplished anything in their lives of any significance. And they stay there for 30, 40, 50 years and accomplish even less, except for creating more havoc and standing up for the bad guys. That's where we're at. Useful idiots full of rhetoric. Deputized PBs. That's a good idea. It's tar and feather people. That's I can get behind that. Tar and feather part. I keep being told, I keep sending the things that, hey Joe, sometimes I can't listen to it here. We are on every platform known to man. Use it to your advantage. All right. Let's, if we can, bankruptcy court is only about unjust enrichment. Michael Morris. Yeah, I agree with you over on YouTube. I agree with you fully. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. We're on Rumble. We're on YouTube. We're on pretty much every platform. Roku, looking at you guys up there on the screen. It's like a bunch of you are watching us on TV. That's pretty awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I can tell you this. If you're in Colorado and you need to buy an AR before this ridiculous SB 003 goes into effect, just go down to DCF. We have 3 locations. And then there's a shirt that I have out there that talks about having no fear. Please don't buy my shirt and wear it if you're a fearful person, because the idea is to not have fear, right? The idea is to operate in a place where we are fearlessly pursuing the truth and speaking the truth. Pray, stand, speak, act. I carry a coin around literally in my pocket everywhere I go. No matter where I am, I carry a coin. My own coin. I carry it. I have the Gideon 300 coin. It literally is worn out. I'll bring it tomorrow. It's sitting on my dresser, side dresser. Yeah, I got to tell you, I need a reminder every day too. None of us are making it out of this life alive. We're just not. And ultimately, it's our job to create enough density where we can stop this perversion that is leading to the destruction of our children. It's not even us. We're children. It's our obligation to do the right thing, to stand next to them, build those unlikely alliances. So we'll be doing that. All right. So let's pray it out. Father God, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you for just the light that you've shined on all the scurrying rats. And we can see and understand all the perversions that we have to deal with, the evil that has consumed our society, our country, and the world. We can see that it's purposeful. It's not just America that's happening. It's every country around the world, which means there are power players that are literally forcing this down the throat of not just Americans, but people all over the world. Good people are becoming enslaved in a way like they've never seen before, not in over 1,000 years. So, Father, we just ask you to give us the ability to fight back, to stand up, to be courageous, to be unselfish, to serve unselfishly, to protect our families, but also be willing to sacrifice for our families what they deserve to have in the future. Father, we ask you to give us the wisdom to know when to strike and when not to strike, when to fight back, when not to fight back, when to speak and when not to speak, and when to defend and when to act offensively. Look at this, Father, and I was like, we just want to have peace, man. We just want life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. But the devil that has run everything just wants conflict. So Father, we just ask for your blessings to push us in a way where we can get through those conflicts and we can get through this evil and make it crawl back into the hole it came out of. We ask these things, Father, humbly in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. We will see you soon. It is, it's a lot. It's a lot. Here's a text that I just got. Man, this is a hard text to read. Let me read this to you. And this is from Terry. It is frightening knowing I have daughters and their families in other states and we can't protect them. My son-in-laws are not pissed off enough to be paying attention. I pray daily for the Lord to keep them safe. Imagine having to write that. Terry, I'm listening. I know what you're saying is right. I know. All right. Well, listen, God bless you. Keep fighting. That's what we're supposed to do. Greg or Jeff, quit making fun of my hair. I don't have a lot of hair. Yeah, I've lost a lot of my hair just over the last 6 years. Yeah. It was so much full 6 years ago. I haven't had time to work on it. And now I'm not sure that I care, but then I see it and his lights are really bad. I haven't had lights in here. It's actually not that bad. I haven't lost all that much hair. But you're right though. Somebody needs to give me some advice on how to get better hair, or I got to go to Turkey. One of the two. You tell me. I'm actually not that worried about it. I think that something's going to happen that my hair is going to be the last thing I have to worry about. All right. God bless you all. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Susan Rice, the good Susan Rice. Peppermint oil Joe. Okay, I'll try it. I'll try anything at this point. I got those little needle things now. You do the little needle things. It's not working. I've done everything. Just drives me nuts. Hey, listen, I at least was blessed with good looks and no hair. Could be the other way around. I could have hair and look like Fauci. Can you imagine? Look like the Mad Magazine guy? Oh, that'd be crazy. Plugs Joe Oltmann instead of plugs Joe Biden. You're such an ass, Jeff. You just can't help yourself. That's fine. Okay, I got you. All right. Let's see what's happening over here on Pilled real quick. Henry Ford was right. Communism is inherently Jewish. Oh, I didn't even get to read all of it. Eric, your comment is it's well heard. Who heads the NGOs, academia, government agencies, MSM, who lied and protect the invasion? The Muslims are pets. Muslims are pets. Yeah, you got, okay, Eric. I read your stuff. You got any more comments that I can put out here that's not going to be inflammatory? I see your frustration, Joe. Feel it too. We must elect Greg and Terrelyn to begin an effort for unity for the people, all people in this state. That's Kathy Gardino, who's watching from Colorado. So it's good to see you, Kathy. All right. That's it. That's all I got today, guys. I just want you to know that all is not lost. We have our faith and we have our commitment in Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. And I'm going to tell you, Jesus is King. And we have an obligation to do our part. Faith without works is dead. You know, am I the enemy because I tell you the truth? And the biggest one, which is 1 John 3:16, the other John 3:16. So you have John 3:16, you have 1 John 3:16. 1 John 3:16 is that God gave up his only son, Jesus, to die for us. So we must be willing to give up our lives for our brothers. And I believe that's brothers and sisters. Brothers are the ones that protect the family. We need to find unity. We need to find fraternity. And we need to make sure that we eliminate and eradicate the evil that has taken over our country and taken over this world. And I think we can do it. I think we're on the path to do it. So God bless you all. We'll see you soon.
untamed. In the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam, Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our